Go Dogs.
How far are they going?
That's the question, actually, is it today? What is going to constitute a successful season for the University of Washington? It was our poll question that we did for the show on Wednesday, and it's Steve Sarkisian's fourth year. He's bringing back a quarterback in Keith Price who will be healthy for the full season, you would think, at least going into it, who wasn't last year. I mean, you expect kind of at this point, Sark, first year they won 5 games, 6 games in year 2, 7 games last year. The normal expectation is that improvement increases, but there are many that look at their schedule and say, I don't see how it's possible.
Well, they've got a tough schedule that's front-loaded with USC and Oregon and LSU and Stanford in the first 6 games, and you look at what they gained, you get a more experienced and healthy, we hope and assume, Keith Price, but you lose Chris Polk, Bishop Sankey, Collier. Is that going to be enough? Is it going to be more than what you had there? You've got questions on the offensive line, but you get a more mature Austin Safarian-Jenkins and Kason Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So for every negative, there is a perceived positive, but you look at that schedule and it seems realistic. They could start out in a pretty big hole, maybe make up ground at the end of the year. But we asked how many wins everybody thought they'd get, and I think the winning number was 7 for the season, which is
same as last year.
Same as last year with losing the bowl game. So I think if you get 8 this year with that schedule and with what they lost and the questions that surround that offensive line, I would look at that as a success.
Oh, definitely. I think you want to be better, though. I mean, to me, a 7-5 season would not be something to feel good about. I think they can win 8 games this year because they have got to. You look at the games, the assumption is they lose those games. Last year, as we looked through their schedule, really, Washington was according to form. If you were a gambler, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They won the games they were supposed to win. With the exception of the Oregon State game, they lost the games they were supposed to lose. To me, especially now coming into year 4, where Sarkisian, with very few exceptions, Keith Price being one of them, but Sarkisian's got all of his players there. All of the recruits are Steve Sarkisian recruits, designed to play his system. We understand the offense is way ahead of the defense in this circumstance.
Right.
They changed the entire defensive program going into this year. You got to assume that's a little bit better, but I just think the guys that you brought in, the guys that Sarkisian wants to build the program around, even the young guys should be able to step up. And a game like, to me, Bob, the one I think I'm pointing out more than anything is Stanford here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Stanford was great last year. They're preseason ranked this year because they should be. I don't know that I think they're that good. They're the sort of team that you're going to have to beat at home to kind of establish who you are. So to me, that's, of all the early season tests they have, that's the one I'm going to put the most credence into. If they win that game, I can see them being a good club.
I'm going to call for 8 wins.
8 wins?
Total.
8
with
wins
the bowl
total.
game.
I'm going to go 8 with winning a bowl game, so 9. So I'm a little more optimistic than you.
Wow. Joe Husky.